Yes, indeed. It is Wrestling Uncensored. Tonight on the show, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre official for Summerslam. MJF versus Will Ospreay official for All In. And it's a real show. Cry me a river. Boom, boom, boom. Johnny North in the room. What's up, Johnny?
Oh, not much, Dave. It just feels like every time you go on vacation, everything goes to hell. And once again, history repeats itself now.
What happened?
I mean, look what's happened since you've left. You know, the world went upside down in the States, did it not?
Are you talking about Trump getting shot? Allegedly shot?
Your hero. And then what happened with your hero and all that? Like
my hero, Hulk Hogan?
Yeah.
Hulkamania, brother. Trumpomania. I got a wall of Hogans behind me. Starting to feel.
And now the Hurt business is completely gone from WWE, pretty much. I guess Cedric Alexander's still there. That's
You're tying a lot of things together here, John. What are we talking about?
Well, I'm just saying, you leave and like everything goes to hell. No, it's happened again.
I see what you did there. Hogan doesn't run the WWE. Triple H does, John.
Well, you took it a different way than I was taking. I was just saying things are happening because you leave. When you don't leave, nothing happens. But now everything's happening.
I don't believe that I'm taking it a different way. I think you fully intended for that to land the way it did. I mean, we might as well. Bobby Lashley's no longer with the WWE. They couldn't come to terms on a new contract. And MVP has kind of liked some posts on Instagram or Twitter where they're saying, well, Triple H doesn't push black wrestlers. Triple H is racist, stuff like that. And there's been some talk online that Triple H doesn't push African-American professional wrestlers. I don't know. I think you'd have to look at the show and figure it out for yourself. I don't think that's really the case. I don't know. I'm not really buying that Triple H is a racist guy who's not pushing black people. I think that there are many African American wrestlers in big positions in the WWE. I don't know. Maybe there could be more. I think obviously there could be more. I think it's more obvious now when you look at who the champions are. Well, I mean, Damian Priest is Puerto Rican. You know what I mean? I don't know. Cody, but Swerve is, prominent in AEW, and maybe people are looking at that, then looking at the WWE. I'm not really sure where all that talk came from. I think maybe MVP was putting it out there a little bit. Maybe that's how MVP feels. Maybe there's some truth there. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying that's not my perception of Triple H and of the current WWE, but it's also not my perception. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The way the Triple H Booker T WrestleMania match went never felt right to me. And he was, directly involved in all of that. Him and Flair and the things they said about Booker and to Booker and the lead up to the match. And then how the match went with Triple H going over, you kind of go, oh, he kind of was pretty racist in the lead up to that. And then he wins? Doesn't seem right. Shouldn't he have lost that one?
Well, you could tie it into what's happening now with Gunther and Damian Priest. No, I mean, that, not this week, but last week seemed very borderline kind of racist. Was it not? Again, the week you were gone.
Where he was saying...
You people?
I thought he was talking about the Judgment Day.
Yeah, well, I think that's the way it was supposed to be, and I feel like he clarified that more this week. But I think because there was so many similarities to the whole Booker T Triple H promo that it felt too much like that, I think.
I don't know. Like, I didn't take it that way from Gunther.
I didn't take it that way either, but I see how people did take it that way. I get the dots.
I guess. I'm usually pretty aware of that type of thing and that type of element in promos and stuff, and I don't get that vibe from Gunther.
I definitely don't think that was the intent whatsoever. And again, I think this week they kind of clarified it more when they started Raw this week. When Gunther had that promo and kind of clarified it was more about being rich and poor. It wasn't about like who he is. But I could see how, because there was some similarities in terms of how things were said, exactly the same as it was with Triple H Booker T. Like when you rewatch that again, you're like, okay, yeah, the thinking unfortunately was there, but I don't think it was intended like that.
Yeah, but Booker T and Damian Priest, there are different connotations when Ric Flair is saying, guys like you aren't fit to hold the world title. You're only here to carry the champ's bags, open the door for the champ. I was like, whoa, dude. And then Triple H wins in the end. You go, what? Why did that happen? That was always weird to me. But, Triple H has said some things over the years where you kind of go, I don't know. I can't say for certain. I'm not going to go and be like, Triple H is a racist and all of this. But
I don't think he is.
I think he could be more sensitive to that type of stuff. I think he could be more aware.
I'm just disappointed we never got the Hurt Business against the Bloodline in some capacity. I think that could have been very interesting. And it felt like we were going there in some capacity at some point. Either with the new Hurt Business, it felt like we could have gone there. And we never did. I feel like there's so many missed opportunities, especially with Bobby Lashley. Like, yes, a 2-time former WWE champion, but could have been so much more.
Mm-hmm. They could have done something with the Hurt Business. It just never turned out. And at this point, I think it would be tough. I mean, what do? You bring back MVP and you get Shelton. Where's Shelton?
He's wrestling on the Indies.
Okay. I don't know. I think there's value for Bobby elsewhere. I didn't see it. People, when Lashley got released, it was kind of mixed in with some racism talk and stuff like that. And I was like, well, where's this coming from? I was a little confused by it. And the Gunther stuff, I don't know. Were people talking about that too as being a little off?
I think because it happened around that promo happened, and then people tied it in with the whole Booker T promo, and then Lashley. So then a lot of people were just connecting dots where they wanted to.
Yeah, well, those are a lot of dots to connect. Dots from the past with this going on right now. I don't think we should attach any of that to Gunther and Damian Priest and what's happening there. Yeah, but there's not a ton of black talent on top in the WWE right now. That is true.
Well, again, Bobby Lashley, that's a huge loss for them. And it's too bad they couldn't come to some sort of agreement. I mean, it just comes out of nowhere because he's supposed to be in this tournament and then apparently has an injury and then he's just gone. And that's it. That's kind of very sad. What happens to the Street Profits? They're just a team now and that's it?
B-Fab is with them.
Okay.
Right?
Doesn't have much, but...
No. And, I look at the New Day. Kofi Kingston at one time was one of the most over guys in all of the WWE. He's a former WWE champion. The New Day, one of the greatest tag teams in the history of the WWE. And they're nowhere. They're barely used. They're not featured. They're not booked with respect. There's no program for the New Day. There's no what's New Day doing? What are we doing with Kofi? What are we doing with Woods? And that's always been odd to me. The drop-off of the New Day when clearly they're proven talents. that you could do stuff with and use in a variety of stories, but they choose to do it with other people. And that makes me wonder why. You know, like, why have they not done more with Kofi Kingston? Why have they not done more with Xavier Woods?
I mean, they're feuding with Final Testament, and that's not exactly exciting, and I'm sure you don't really enjoy that, so that's why you're like, oh, they're not doing anything, because you're not liking what they're doing right now.
But it's not just right now. Right?
I think injuries hurt them a lot, too. They seem to be in and out a lot, you notice.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's that's a weird one that I don't like. I don't like that.
Well, I also feel like they may have peaked with New Day. Like, they've done so much with them. What else is there left to do?
I think there's a lot for them to do. I think there's a lot as singles for both of those guys to do.
Yeah, singles, I could see that.
Yeah.
Tag, though, like, they may have maxed out tag, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. But by themselves, I think that there's a lot that they could do, and they just never gave them anything concrete to do. It's just like, oh, you're just going to be in this match here, this match there, but there's never a direction. And Angelo says they haven't been the same since Big E got injured, and I think that's true. As a group, they haven't been the same, but I think individually they could still both be doing way more than what they're given. And that has been odd to me, because at one point they were very big. Very big. Bigger than most people on their current roster have ever been. So you think, why not reinvest in that? Why not revisit that? Why not stick with that instead of trying to get these other new talents over?
Yeah.
Who aren't getting over, who aren't ever going to get to the peaks of the New Day. Why not stick with the proven commodity rather than switching it up and trying to get with this guy or that guy, like using the New Day to put a variety of people over until New Day's not even there. I don't like that. I don't like that, John. Triple H doesn't seem to have many big plans for the New Day. He's got big plans for DIY, who have not half the charisma of Kofi or Woods. They're nowhere near entertaining. They're actually boring. You know, Kofi and Woods are two of the most entertaining promo guys that they have. And they're barely featured. Why is that happening?
DIY, but the DIY, it's because that was Triple H's team in NXT, and they haven't had the success yet on the main roster, so that's why they're getting the push.
Yeah, I hope they drop the belts to Tama and Jacob Fatu next week on SmackDown. They're defending their tag team titles next week on SmackDown because Fatu and Tonga won a gauntlet match that took about 13 hours, I think, on SmackDown tonight. It felt
probably an
like,
hour, I think.
No, I think it was about 3 days. I think I spent 3 days watching that gauntlet match. It felt about that long. It was awful.
And imagine it was a tape show, so imagine watching it live.
Yeah. And you know what the most disappointing part of it all, John? You know what it was?
What's that?
Pretty Deadly didn't win.
You knew that going into that. Come on.
Yeah, but they could have won one of the matches in the gauntlet. But
okay,
no,
fair enough.
Street Profits had to win all the matches. It was, let me recap for you, since I think you missed SmackDown tonight, rare occasion. So I'll update you.
Miss SmackDown. I was busy.
Yeah, that's it. You were, doing pro wrestling business. Which is where you're going to be next week for SummerSlam, too? Are you missing the SummerSlam post-show because you're going to be wrestling? Is that the deal?
That's right. I'm wrestling in Kanawagi next week. That's right.
Oh my
So no
god!
SummerSlam. SummerSlam sucks. Go to Kanawagi, people.
Wow.
Knights of Columbus.
So I'll be doing the post show by myself after SummerSlam. Whack.
Oh, your brother. I'm
He
sure
won't
loves
be there.
SummerSlam.
He won't be there either.
Oh, that's terrible.
He's going to Oshiaga because he thinks he's cool.
Ah, I see. I get it.
Ridiculous.
Well, he's still hip.
I guess. I don't know. I think
if you're,
I think he thinks he still is, but like somebody's got to tell him, like, yo, dude, it's over. The youth is over.
well, if you're lucky, SummerSlam will drag, and maybe I'll get back in time because the show starts at 6 p.m. So it's not impossible.
Oh my god. Oh, I'm gonna fall asleep during SummerSlam, and I'm gonna miss the post show. I think I'll be by myself watching a 6-hour SummerSlam, and I'll just be on the couch, just dead.
It's only 8 matches, right? It's not the usual 5. It's 8 now.
Good God Almighty, that's a lot of matches. Oh my God, what do we have for SummerSlam? They made some stuff official this week. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. That was the big news of the week. Other than Rhea Ripley licking Dominic Mysterio. I want to talk about that because there was a shift there in the direction of that story that seems unnecessary.
Okay.
Drew and Punk, they will wrestle at SummerSlam with Seth the freaking Rollins as the special guest referee. So that is happening. We also have Samuel Zayn defending the Intercontinental title against Braun Breaker. Logan Paul defending the United States Championship against LA Knight. Cody Rhodes defending the WWE Championship against Solo Sikoa. Liv Morgan defending the Women's World Championship against Rhea Ripley. Bayley defending the WWE Women's Championship against Nia Jax, and Damian Priest defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Gunther. Imagine just being a person who's maybe not watched WWE in a while, trying to check out SummerSlam, and you go, there's a WWE Women's Champion and a Women's World Champion. And there's a World Heavyweight Champion and an undisputed WWE Champion. What is this? Like, it's just, there's so many belts, man. It's not even all of them.
Reach, brand. Makes sense.
Yeah. So they're stacking this show. A lot of matches, 7 matches so far. I hope they don't add another. I think we're good. They're doing the women's tag team title match on SmackDown the night before in Cleveland. It'll be Bianca and Jade against Fire and Dawn. And the SmackDown men's tag team title match, DIY versus Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. They don't need to add more to SummerSlam. I'm good. 7 matches. I'll recap that for you.
So, 7 will be long, especially if every match is as long as we usually see with the 5. Plus, the nice little recaps they give every now and then during the shows, which is like 30 minutes.
Good God. That is true. Shout out to the chat. I see Antoinette in the chat. Jason Pete. Angelo Contagonis. He says, why not just call it Night of Champions SummerSlam? I agree. Jimmy James. A lot of members of the team. CSL, RC Lorne. Ryan Katz. Everybody joining up over at join.ringsidereport.net, join.ringsidereport.net to join up. See your name in green. Give you a shout out. Just like Jimmy James and Angelo Contagonis. Angelo! Jason Pete out in Mexico. Lorne out in Côte St. Luc. And Antoinette, I think, still in Toronto or the GTA. Maybe not quite Toronto. But the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area, and I think she's going on vacation. She mentioned she was going to Saskatchewan, I believe. So, hope you have a nice trip. Antoinette, member of the team, joining us here. Oh, she says her flight leaves at 6 a.m. All right.
Wow.
Well, have a nice trip, Antoinette. Checking in on a Friday night with us. Live on the Ringside Report Network. I'll be back tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, with Freddie and AJ for the UFC 304 watch-along here on the Ringside Report Network. I was by myself last night, John. Solo Dave.
I saw, but you did all right. You know, you survived.
I did all right. Thanks. It was okay. He didn't like it. You didn't like it. Are you there? Oh, he's gone. He's freezing out.
Hold on.
He's got problems.
Fix myself.
Yep, he's got to fix himself. Sometimes Johnny has problems. He starts not being able to hear me. He's got to redo his internet. Something's gone wrong. Johnny, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you pretty good.
Yeah, good.
Hearing was good. It was just the seeing wasn't so good.
Oh, okay. So you didn't like the show last night, is what you're saying?
No, I thought the show was pretty good last night. I mean, for by yourself, it's better when you have Fred and AJ, though. I think you'll agree with that too, though. But you did pretty good for solo.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why Fred and AJ are on the show, right? Because I think they make it better. If I thought that they made it worse, we wouldn't do the show with them. You know what I mean? If I thought the show was better without you, I'd say, goodbye, John. You're banned. But I think it's better with you. I think it's better you and me together. If I thought the show was better without me, I would say, I'm quitting, and John, you do this on your own. As a matter of fact, John, I think I've come to that point, and I think the show is better without me, and it's time for you to do it on your own.
You really did it like this? Wow, that's cool. Well, I think people want to hear me talk about how SmackDown, I didn't watch it, so there's no SmackDown talk at all this week whatsoever. But, SmackDown wasn't good that last week, so no one really cares about that. Raw, ups and downs. I hated the beginning of Raw. I don't know if you liked it. What's up? You're laughing? No, you didn't like it?
I thought you were joking.
But seriously, the beginning of Raw,
SmackDown,
I wasn't
didn't
a big
watch
fan
it.
of it.
So you're gonna hear me talk about how I didn't watch SmackDown. I was like, what's this? How's this gonna go? How long's this gonna last? So I did watch SmackDown. So usually I do, but I decided not to tonight. So let's talk about that. Do you usually watch SmackDown? Sometimes I do. Like, what's gonna happen there? Sorry.
I did see it last week though. Not a very good show. But
I saw
Raw,
it last week too.
Like when they came out, like you saw Punk. That was when Punk came out. The entrances and all that. Braun Breaker comes to the arena shirt. I mean, okay, you're not cool by doing that, but whatever.
What did he do?
And then Judgment Day
came to the arena and what?
Well,
he just skipped out.
No shirt.
Oh, he loves it.
Yeah, well, whatever. You look stupid, but whatever. It's not very professional. I mean, he looks great, but it's not very professional. But then Judgment Day comes, and they're just acting stupid. And it's like, well, this is a horrible way to start Raw. Like, it's just goofy.
Yeah. I mean, they're, they're doing big angles. They got a lot going on. What did you not like about the Judgment Day? The Rhea Ripley stuff with Dominic? That was what they did, right? That was basically Judgment Day this week. They had a match too.
I think it was the skits, like the whole we gotta go find Jay and go beat him up thing, and then Dom ran into Liv, and then Finn got mad at him. It's just this ridiculous love drama that isn't very entertaining or exciting to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess a lot of people did like it, but I was not a fan of this whatsoever. And the whole whatever about the licking thing, but just Liv coming out and look how good I look. Of course, Dom likes me. You look like almost everybody else. I mean, everyone else has like 1,000 pounds of makeup on too. I mean,
all right. Hey,
I mean, they look great. Like,
let's take it easy. Take it easy. Let's not go after her looks here, John. Like, let's be cool. Did John just freeze out? John started insulting Liv Morgan and the internet stopped him. What happened?
yeah,
What
exactly.
happened?
WWE hates me now for this.
Wow, John. John is freezing out big time. What's happening tonight? John starts going off on Liv Morgan pretty hard there. That was rough. Jeez. And now I think he's permanently banned himself from the show. Is he coming back? Only time will tell, I suppose. Oh, there he is.
There
Johnny.
No more rants.
Man, Liv Morgan has a lot of fans. They came after you quick.
Oh, yeah? What happened?
Well, I'm
They
just
didn't
saying.
like the 1,000 pounds of makeup thing?
No, they didn't like that. They hacked you immediately. You said that comment, and they were like, nope, you're gone. Get off the internet. Wow.
Sadly.
Yeah. I mean, Liv, she has a lot of male fans, John, so take it easy, all right? She has a lot of female fans. She has a lot of fans. A lot of people love Liv Morgan, so take it easy. Let's be nice to Liv Morgan. I'm not going to say whether I agree or disagree with you. I'm not taking a stand on how Liv Morgan looks or doesn't look. I don't think we should be commenting on that. I think it's rude. But she was commenting on it. She was kind of being like,
yeah, exactly.
Dominic Mysterio likes girls like me, and then she turned around and showed her butt. Not girls like you, Rhea Ripley. And I remember when Rhea Ripley was wrestling, she had a match with Becky Lynch, and Becky was cutting promos on her saying like, oh, you got over recently because you went viral for a clip where your whole butt was out and you were doing stink faces to people, and they were getting all excited. And I don't do it that way, showing my butt to get over, that type of thing. So, like, Liv Morgan's like, ooh, guys don't like you, you're not attractive. And then Becky Lynch was like, oh, you're only getting over because guys like you because you're attractive. And I'm like, well, which is it with Rhea Ripley? What is the WWE trying to tell us here? Nevertheless, I just thought it was odd because, to me, Rhea and Dominic Mysterio have never been a couple. They've just been like where Rhea kind of tells him what to do. Where, like, it's never been like a boyfriend-girlfriend type of thing. They've never kissed. They've never licked. They've never done any of that type of stuff on TV. It's not been part of the gimmick. So all of a sudden, Liv Morgan gets involved, and she's like, ooh, Daddy Dom, and this and that. And she's trying to entice Dominic Mysterio. And we're supposed to believe that Rhea Ripley feels threatened by this? Because Rhea Ripley is into Dominic Mysterio in that way? And she thought that she was going to lose Dominic Mysterio to Liv Morgan? In a boyfriend-girlfriend type of way? Is this what we are now to believe? Because I feel like that wasn't what Rhea and Dominic were before Rhea got hurt, before this whole Liv Morgan thing started. And now that Rhea's back, she's licking Dominic's face. Like, she grabbed him by the hair, she whispered in his ear, which is what she always did, which was like close enough to kissing him, but she didn't kiss him. She came right up next to his face, but she's just whispering in his ear. Right? But then she does a whisper, and then she licks him, and then she kisses him on the cheek and leaves big, black lipstick on his cheek, all over his cheek, which we've never seen before. So now Rhea Ripley is feeling, like, threatened and a little bit like, ooh, I gotta claim Dominic here and show everybody and lick him and kiss him. Like, what is that? And then Dominic grabs her and he gives her a little kiss in the head. Since when is that going on? I don't think that's a good representation of Rhea Ripley. I don't think Rhea Ripley should reduce herself to doing this type of stuff. I don't think any of that was necessary. Rhea Ripley doesn't
interesting
need
point.
to kiss and lick Dominic Mysterio. That's not what the relationship has ever been about. It's been about Dominic being Rhea's little bitch boy. Her little guy that she tosses around and tells what to do because she's the goddamn leader of the Judgment Day. And him and Finn and Priest and all the other jabronis in the group just fall in line because she's mommy, goddammit. It's not like, oh my God, Liv Morgan's going to take my man away. Like, what is that? That's not what Rhea Ripley is. I thought that was a really weak move for her character. Really reductive. Really kind of an old type of way of thinking about women in professional wrestling. And if that is what the Triple H message is, if that's his direction with the Liv Morgan and the sexiness and the pictures and the hotel and this and that, and now Rhea Ripley's kissing on Dominic, and all of a sudden she's into Dominic. I don't think that's the right way, and I think that that's a really bad sign. That's a really bad sign. So I hated that. I thought that was awful, and I'm worried about what it means for women's wrestling in the WWE, and also for Rhea Ripley. Like, this was just a bad move. All of a sudden, Rhea Ripley cares about what Dominic Mysterio thinks. Guy's a jabroni.
I think it might be just that whoever's writing the story for them isn't the same writer they had in the past. And they don't know the characters as well, because that's what it seems like, is that they're writing it differently. And it's like, well, if they're doing a comeback kind of thing, like, she's going to care about them because they're supposed to be boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever they are. But the whoever originally wrote the story isn't writing the story now, so they don't understand the dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that could be an issue. Plus, like, I don't know if you caught this, but it kind of upset me a bit. There's like, Rhea got mad, like, oh, I've been looking at your socials and what you've been liking about Liv. Yet, let's ignore her socials about the fact that he's posted that he got married recently and she got married recently. We're just going to forget that stuff. But, those socials, WWE stuff, that's important. So I don't like when they bring that kind of stuff in because you can't.
Well, that's it. We all know it's all fake. But just for the characters, it's unnecessary. It's really bad. It's bad for Rhea. It's bad for Liv. She comes off not looking great. I
didn't like the crying. Crying was kind of...
Dom's like, I don't like you, Liv. I like Rhea Ripley. And then Liv is like in tears, crying because she loves Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio to Rhea Ripley is not... Like, they're trying to make it like China and Eddie Guerrero, where Eddie Guerrero was like into China, and China kind of dominated him a little bit, and it was that type of relationship, but it was like a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, right? And a lot of people are comparing that to Rhea and Dom because of the look of the people involved, just how it looks visually. They look similar. But the relationship and the dynamic and the story is completely different, and also, it's not 1999, it's 2024. Okay? So Rhea and Dom, they're not China and Eddie. They're Ted DiBiase and Virgil. Dominic is Virgil. If Virgil was thinking about going and being some other wrestler's valet, Ted DiBiase would either allow it, beat him up, or just slap the shit out of him and be like, stand in line, Virgil. And that's what Rhea Ripley should have done. Rhea Ripley should have come back, beat the hell out of Dominic, beat the hell out of Liv, and told everybody to fall in line, and then they would. And then you're good. Judgment Day, back in order. But instead, she's like, oh no, Dominic might not love me. Love you? Who gives a shit if he loves you? He should fear you. That's the dynamic. She's not Dominic's girlfriend. She's the leader of the Judgment Day. And they are screwing that up pretty bad. It's not good. It's not a good look for them either. This whole story has turned really dark. One day there are going to be stories written about this storyline particularly. About the comparisons you could make to Vince McMahon, trying to make Dominic the victim of the woman trying to come after him. It's bad. And in the process, you're also turning a strong female character like Rhea Ripley into a woman who's just kind of insecure about her feeble boyfriend possibly leaving her for some lady who's down to, party in the hotel room to get the WWE Women's Championship, brother. Like, what? It's not good. It's not positive models for people. It's not good. It's turning bad. It's turning even worse. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just somebody wrote in the comments kind of how I feel. Like, I feel like they're trying to push this where Dom's going to turn on Rhea. I can see it happen at SummerSlam. And maybe that's why they're doing this shift, because they want to make it come out.
Uh-oh. Damn, Johnny's freezing a lot tonight. You back?
Oh, well, live stuff, I guess.
What is happening with this guy? That was Ray Cruz saying, I have a feeling that Dom will turn on Rhea and help Liv Morgan, which would turn Rhea like big-time babyface, but it'd be a weird type of babyface. I don't know. Sad because her boyfriend left her for Liv Morgan. Angelo Contagonis dropping a super chat. Thank you, Angelo. You're the super chat leader of the night. Antoinette gifts a membership. Thank you, Antoinette. Dropping the membership to Big Cheese Bob Burgers. Welcome, Big Cheese. Shout out to Ray Cruz, longtime member. Leor in the chat as well. What's up, Leor? Big Cheese Bob Burgers enjoying the new emojis that he can use now as a member over at join.ringsidereport.net. And I still don't have my Big Johnny North back. What happened? Good God almighty. His internet sucks tonight. He needs to get it together. Oh, pal. What are we going to do? What are we going to do with Johnny? He must return at some point. So we had a very, very long gauntlet match on SmackDown that I don't think I quite got into. Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews opened it up against Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. That's right. That was a match on SmackDown tonight. Corbin and Crews beat Humberto and Garza, and then they moved on to wrestle again against the Street Profits, which was not great. And the Street Profits, of course, won. And then the Street Profits wrestled Pretty Deadly, which was entertaining. And the Street Profits won that too. But then the Street Profits lost to Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Oh, wait, no. The Street Profits also beat Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. They beat them too. So Street Profits won 3 matches before finally losing to Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga in the finals of the tag team title shot gauntlet match tonight on SmackDown, which took up, most of the show. It wasn't great. And then the main event was Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton getting the win over Bayley and Michin. Bayley took a briefcase shot to the face from Tiffany while the ref's back was turned, and Nia hit a bonsai drop to get the win on Bayley. Johnny's back?
I heard that. So, yeah. Nia won. Congrats, I guess. Was it a good match?
No.
Oh, that's too bad.
No, I mean, it was fine. It wasn't great. I was kind of surprised it was the main event. They cut to a Solo Sikoa promo afterwards. They like to end SmackDown with those short solo backstage promos. where he talked about, how he's going to win the WWE Championship next week against Cody? I don't think he's going to.
Probably not. Like, I think he's probably, if there's betting odds, I imagine he's the biggest underdog, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But stranger things have happened.
Do you think we see Roman at SummerSlam?
I hope so. I mean, we
Me
need
too.
something to happen at SummerSlam because I think besides the Punk match, I'm not very excited for it.
I'm excited about that Punk match, though.
Yeah, but take that away.
But I don't have to. It's on the card.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, that's the only reason you care about this show.
Yeah. Well, no, I want to see LA Knight and Logan Paul. Logan Paul says he got a call from Mr. Cleveland saying he's got big surprises for Logan in his hometown at SummerSlam. So, who's that? LeBron James?
I would be worried. Like, if you're an LA Knight fan, I'd be concerned because LA Knight already beat Logan Paul, and it's in Cleveland. I could see Logan Paul win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's possible, which is not great. I would rather he win, but I don't know what LA Knight is ever going to get. He didn't get Money in the Bank. He hasn't won any belts. He's over. They don't seem to have any real plan. I mean, you would think winning the U.S. title at SummerSlam would be the move for him. But given it's in Logan Paul's hometown, maybe not.
They like Logan Paul a lot. So I could see him keep it on him, sadly.
It's rough. It's it's unfortunate. Yeah, so that was basically what happened on SmackDown tonight. Not a ton of news, not a ton of action coming out of that show. CM Punk returning to Raw was pretty good. Nice to see Punk cut a promo. Nice to see CM Punk on wrestling TV. And he's going to wrestle Drew McIntyre with Seth Rollins as a special referee. I thought they really mishandled that whole announcement where Adam Pearce comes out. Like, Punk calls out Drew McIntyre. He's like, I'm cleared. Come out. Let's fight. Drew comes out, and he's like, oh, I want to fight you, but not right now. And then referees come out, and they separate them because Punk goes after him, Referees come out. They're nowhere near each other. And then Adam Pearce comes out, and he's like, okay, you're going to wrestle each other, but you're not allowed to touch each other before SummerSlam, or you're both suspended, and all this stuff. He's, the match is off, and nothing good will ever happen to you in WWE. And then he goes, we got chaos, and I've got problems. I've got referee problems. And then Seth Rollins comes out. And you go, okay, Seth Rollins is going to be the referee for the match. And then Seth talks for like 4 or 5 minutes, and then he goes, and I'm going to be the referee, the visionary. And I'm like, yeah, I know, dude. We knew as soon as your music hit because Adam Pearce just said referee problems. Why did he say referee problems? He shouldn't have said that, man. Because if he doesn't say that, you go, chaos, okay. Seth Rollins comes out, starts talking, and then he goes, I'm the ref. And it's like, oh, okay, then there's a pop. But instead, you just go, why are you talking? Why are you talking?
I don't disagree with you that it wasn't great, but I don't think they had any other good ideas for this, sadly.
No, but all you needed to do is not have Adam Pearce say referee. Just don't say the word referee. You know what I mean?
But I think they think this was a good idea for saying this, though. They wanted this.
Ugh. Well, Seth as a referee is fun. It gives Seth something to do at SummerSlam. He's got history with Punk and Drew. He could, be neutral and hate them both, attack them both. Who knows? What happens if the match just turns into a triple threat because Seth just attacks them?
I mean, that's kind of a way out of it. We need to have something happen with this because on Punk McIntyre. I think we need some sort of any kind of finish here because just having Seth interfere and costing them the whole match, that ruins like a whole year worth of this build.
You got to figure Punk has to win.
I mean, he screwed over McIntyre twice for the title. I feel McIntyre has to win.
McIntyre put him out of action since the Royal Rumble for almost a year.
One and two horrible. Punk got on McIntyre. That's what
you are breaking up a lot, John. Can you hear me? You are cracking up big time. I can't hear anything you just said.
Well, I can hear you, but yeah,
oh man. Whew. Technical difficulties with Johnny tonight. But yeah, we'll do a full SummerSlam preview next Friday night. Obviously, we got CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. It's a huge match that they announced this week. Punk finally medically cleared. Like I said, just now he hasn't wrestled since the Royal Rumble back in January where he got hurt from a move that Drew McIntyre gave him. So this is going to be a big return for CM Punk and a big test to see how he handles a rigorous match at SummerSlam against a big, tough guy like Drew McIntyre, who's not going to take it easy on him. Right? I mean, it's a test for Punk at SummerSlam to see how his body handles a serious match. We haven't seen him in so long.
But he's been training, though. I don't know if you've seen those videos or not, no?
Your mic is off, John. Your mic is like not your mic. Your audio's weird now.
Oh, I'll have to reset again.
I didn't want to tell him, but like it sounded weird, right? Didn't sound like normal Johnny. Oh, this is getting difficult. Okay. What else do we have? What else is going on? What are people saying to me? Jimmy James says LA needs it more than Paul. I agree. I think he does. I think he really needs it. Ray Cruz says, I think Logan Paul will retain, especially with the Prime contract with WWE. Like, yeah, that's it. He's a big star. There's that factor. Yeah. Johnny, you good?
No, it's still not working very well. I hear you, but not see you well.
Oh, my God. What is happening with Johnny? So strange. Very strange. Big Cheese Bob Burgers saying, telling you it's not only AJ, Johnny as well. IT needs to check the motherboard. That is suspiciously sounding like a comment AJ would make. Blaming other people for AJ's obvious technical issues. Then why does Fred never have the problem? Why is Johnny only having the problem tonight and never any other time? And why does AJ have the problem every single week for months now? Explain that, Big Cheese Bob Burgers, if that is your real name, which I highly doubt. All right, how about that? How about that? If your theories don't work, don't bring them to me. Ridiculous. Oh, it's not AJ, it's da-da-da. No, that's not correct. That is not correct. Okay, Bob Burgers. I disbelieve you, and I'm suspicious of you. Okay, let's get to some other stuff here. The Drew McIntyre news wasn't just his match with CM Punk. He also put out a tweet with a picture of Jack Perry saying, real photo, cry me a river. He then deleted it, but it was out there. a picture of Drew McIntyre and Jack Perry together. And you know, of course, that Drew and Jack Perry had their issues. Or sorry, Jack Perry and CM Punk, not Jack and Drew. But Jack and CM Punk, their whole fight backstage led to CM Punk eventually getting fired from AEW. There was the Real Glass Crimea River comment said on pay-per-view by Jack Perry that led to the fight with CM Punk backstage. And then Drew McIntyre posts a photo of himself with Jack Perry together and says, "Real photo, Crimea River." Making the reference, obviously, to Real Glass Crimea River, which I thought was pretty crazy. Here is the photo. Drew deleted it, but obviously it's still out there. Drew McIntyre and Jack Perry together. And Drew McIntyre deleted it. But obviously it will stay there forever. Johnny, why do you think he deleted the photo?
Someone probably told him to, I would think. WWE probably.
Why?
We talked about this, and we were texting actually about it. Like, I thought it was a good idea for him to do it just because it's good publicity for WWE, because the whole Jack Perry Punk feud, people know about it, people talk about it. I thought it was good for WWE, but I think because it gives too much attention to AEW, WWE's like, yeah, don't post that because it gives them too much. So that's why I think why they took it down.
Do you think it's possible that Punk saw it and got mad and said something to somebody, and that somebody got Drew to take it down?
I don't know. Like, he said a lot of things that talk about it, and I think even Seth has said a couple of things that kind of talk about the whole situation that happened in AEW. People have said little things that kind of allude to what happened. So I don't think Punk is really upset about that kind of stuff. I don't think just because he took a photo with Jack Perry, he's going to be so mad about it. I just think, again, they don't want attention on AEW. And we talked about this. Like, it puts a lot of eyeballs on Jack Perry. And I think WWE didn't like that.
I would not be surprised if Punk got mad seeing that photo, making the reference to Real Glass Crimea River, taking the picture with Jack Perry. Punk is still mad. Don't tell me he's not. I saw him in, Ottawa or a couple weeks ago. He was like cutting a promo, and he was like, "Hey, it's good to be in this building. Last time I was in this building, we didn't have people sitting over there, behind the hard cam." Some building he was in recently. He's still talking about AEW. It's like, dude, you haven't been there for like a year, and you're still talking about how they have lower attendance in WWE. Like, he's still mad, obviously. And this was like, of all the shots you could take, this was a pretty big shot. You're posing with the guy who you had big-time beef with there, Jack Perry. Drew is posing in a picture with him. Punk starts thinking, what are they talking about? They're talking about me. What's Perry saying about me? This fucking, how come this is too far? This is out of I'm calling Triple H. What the fuck, Connor? What is this? I mean, you can see it happening. I got no Johnny right now. This
I'm
sucks.
frozen, I think.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but see nothing.
Well, fine. I don't care. I can see you.
Okay, that's good, I guess.
Yeah, you're good. You don't need to see me. You can hear me fine?
I hear you okay.
Yeah, all right. What was I saying?
Punk is still mad about the whole Jack Perry thing, wanted to take it down.
Yeah.
Like, it could be right, but like, he with Danhausen recently. Like, I don't think he's mad about everything. Like it's all bad. He put over Darby Allin recently too in a promo.
Punk did?
Yeah, an interviewed, and he said like wrestling was one of the best things he did.
Wrestling Darby Allin.
Yeah.
That was in an interview. That's not a promo, though.
Wow, I mean, it's all right. Everyone can see it. Like, he doesn't have all bad things to say about it. And, like, bad things happen in WWE, right? He got over it. He's there now.
Yeah. Yeah. Took him a while, though. And it only took him getting into a massive fight with the other company, and it brought him back to wrestling. Like, I don't know. We're not going to, talk about why Punk came back to WWE and all of that, but I don't know. This was a major shot, and the fact that Drew deleted it made me wonder why. I don't think Punk necessarily was the one, but it helps Drew promote his SummerSlam match. It does help WWE, but it also helps Jack Perry, in a way, continue this character that he has, right?
100%.
It does continue to elevate that. And he had quite a performance. Almost got killed in blood and guts. That was nuts.
Show match.
The what?
Like the best thing that we saw whole time was that. I thought the show was good. Blood and Guts was fantastic to watch.
Yeah. You're kind of cracking up again, man. We're having real technical issues with you tonight. I don't think this is going to... it's not solving it when you reset. I don't know what's happening. It's no bueno. Here he is. Let's try this again, Sean.
Well, again, I can hear you, but I can't see you too well. But
yeah. And your audio is cracking up. What is happening tonight? Have you been having internet problems, John? Is this an issue for you, or is this just with us?
Actually, yeah, just no problems. But, you see something bad about Liv, and it all goes to hell.
Huh. Okay. Well, we'll figure that out. We got to get that solved for the next one, John. Yeah, but I agree with you. I thought Blood and Guts, the match itself, was the best thing we saw on the show, but that's kind of how it was designed, right? They didn't even call it Dynamite this week. They just called it Blood and Guts, and that was for the big match in the main event, the double ring, double cage match. That delivered big time. Bowens bumping through the tables off the cage was bananas. What a bump from Anthony Bowens. Just starting there.
Well, he took a bunch of crazy bumps. He got thrown into some barbed wire. He's also was the only guy not wearing a shirt. Jack wasn't doing that as well.
What?
Oh yeah, I don't know if you caught any of that, but he was hurt doing that. Like, he took all those bumps, landed in barbed wire
with no shirt.
That's it. Like, he took a lot of crazy bumps.
Okay. Apparently it's not your internet, so I don't know what's going on here. We got
there's something going slow. Clearly, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I thought Bowens, like, really out. I mean, the fact that he took a lot of crazy bumps, and, like, he took it, like, square in the chest or right in the back a lot of the times. That's not easy with barbed wire, chair shots flying everywhere. People complain about protect the chair shot, but actually that's not bad. I see that once you come and think like there were chairs around in that match.
No, I'm getting nothing. This is not good. This is not good, John. I can't really hear you. This is kind of fucked.
I'll have to try to refresh one more time.
Yeah, this is not good. We're going to have to wrap up early. We're just not working. Yeah, we're going to have to wrap up. This is an issue. It is your internet, John, by the way. We have identified the problem. It's your internet. Something's wrong. It's, like, very weak.
It has to be.
Yeah. 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 Sorry, you were saying about the I think you're better
Well, just
now.
that. Well, good for now, but it'll die
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
But Bowens again, just not wearing a shirt, like took barbed wire on his back, on his chest, got sandwiched in barbed wire, and the chair shots that were flying like crazy in that match. People complain about the Jack Perry getting hit with the chair, but at least you could see it coming. Some of those other chair shots you couldn't see coming.
It was a violent match. It lived up to the name Blood and Guts. Darby hitting that coffin drop from the top of the cage, landing on Perry through the table was nuts. What a move.
Oh, there's a lot of crazy moves throughout the whole match.
They handcuffed the Elite towards the end. They had Okada, Matt Jackson, and Jack Perry all handcuffed. Hangman and Swerve fell off the stage. We didn't see it, but that's what eliminated them, which was kind of weird. Like, I didn't love that they just kind of disappeared, and then I think it happened during the commercial. They, like, disappeared, and then we never saw them again, but that's how the match played out. So the Elite were handcuffed, and Darby starts pouring gasoline on Jack Perry and threatens to burn him alive. He says, I'm going to light you up. I'm going to burn you alive if you don't give me a TNT title match and you don't quit this match right now. And Jungle Boy, Jack Perry there, he is stuck on the cage, double handcuffed there. He can't move. He's got gasoline all over him. And Darby's got this lighter, and he's like, I'm going to burn you now. You will die if you don't give me a title match. And also, you don't quit this match right now. And Matt Jackson is like, no, let's not do this. You got your match. And then Darby's like, that's not enough. You also have to quit this match. And Matt's like, okay, fine. Like, we quit. That's enough. We're good. It was kind of a weird finish. But, they had to find a way out.
Well, it got messed up too, though.
How?
Well, the handcuff wasn't working, right? On the outside.
It wasn't? For who?
Well, Jarrett couldn't unhook the handcuffs, right? Or the key wasn't working. I don't know if you caught that part.
Yeah.
So that messed up their timing, I think.
Wait, Jarrett was trying to unhandcuff who?
Swerve, remember?
Wait, did Swerve come back? I thought him and Hangman kind of disappeared after they fell off the stage.
They did disappear on that part, but they got slowed down there. And then Darby couldn't find, like, the gas, right?
Right. Yeah, there was some confusion. There was a lot of...
Yeah, it was a lot, yeah.
There was a lot going on. And the finish was just kind of awkward. It was fun. It was violent. But the way it ended was kind of like, all right. I guess they've done it all. They can go now.
Well, they hit all the high spots.
Mm-hmm.
That's the important part.
It was good. It was a fun match. You didn't like Jericho and Suzuki? I thought that was pretty good.
The chop stuff at the beginning, like, you could only get away with that because it's those guys. But if it was any other regular match, people would think it's the worst match of all time.
But Jericho was bleeding so fast from those chops. Like, that was pretty impressive.
Again, with Jericho can pull this off. It's fine, but only because he's so over and because you care enough about Jericho, whatever he does.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's pretty good. But, like, again, if that wasn't Jericho and that wasn't Suzuki, I don't know if even Suzuki maybe. Like, maybe yes, maybe no. But I feel like if it was anyone else, like, you just think, like, this match kind of sucked.
Yeah, but
The
sometimes...
bump was bad, too.
The what?
The bumps they took.
I mean, they're 50
Suzuki's
plus
bump.
years old. They're pretty old guys.
It showed in the match. Like, was that not the opening match?
Yeah.
Not a great start.
I thought it was cool just seeing those two guys wrestle each other at just like a random match on Dynamite. I thought it was kind of fun. What did you think about MJF revealing that the International Championship is now called the American Championship, revealing a new belt? And I think it was supposed to be a heel move, but the crowd popped because they were, of course, in America, and they started chanting USA. It was weird.
I mean, he still got heat for it, and the whole idea to have a title in the end, like, once he loses, he's still going to say he's the American champion, so it's just that makes a title very long.
Yeah, maybe he beat Ospreay for the belt just to drop it back to him in Ospreay's home country at All In. They made that match official. I could see MJF dropping the rematch when they do it in England. Ospreay and MJF, that one now official for All In. And I liked the Tony Storm attacking Mariah May. I thought that was pretty good. I don't know. I thought Dynamite was decent.
Yeah, that was all right. No, like you're right. No, Tony Storm, Mariah May was okay, but that was more of a segment than a match. Like Mariah May's match wasn't anything to write home about.
No. But the Tony Storm attack and the fire and the, it was good. It felt good. It was solid. Tony was really intense. It was good.
Well, I think the women's matches, that's the one I look forward to the most at All In, though.
Mm-hmm. Didn't Mercedes Moné say she was not going to wrestle Britt Baker? Britt Baker beat Hikaru Shida, and then Mercedes is like, I'm not going to wrestle you, and then Baker was attacked by Camille, who is a former NWA women's champion, now All Elite, officially in AEW. I guess has aligned herself with Mercedes. But is that match official? I thought Mercedes said they weren't going to do it, but I'm seeing that it is on the card right now.
Because at the Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, Tony Khan made it official.
We're making matches official at Comic-Cons now. Oh, Angelo telling me on the Super Chat, Khan made the match for Mercedes and Britt Baker for All In official while at San Diego Comic-Con. Thank you, Angelo.
Yep. Angelo's on the ball.
He really is. San Diego Comic-Con. That sounds like a good time. So that's pretty much the week in wrestling, right, John? I don't think we missed anything. Despite the technical issues, we persevered and fired on all cylinders.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I feel like we probably missed something. I mean, it's 2 weeks worth of stuff that's happened, but I think we covered the major parts anyways.
Well, we can give it to the chat if there's anything in pro wrestling over the past couple weeks since we've been off that we haven't covered that you'd like us to touch on. Go ahead, give us something in the chat, and maybe we'll do it in the next couple of minutes while we're still on wrapping up the show. I know Johnny wanted to talk about Hulk Hogan at the Republican National Convention, whatever it's called.
Well, we kind of mentioned it already, but I just thought at first when I heard it happen, I'm like, is this a joke? And then when I actually saw it happen, I'm like, wow, I can't believe this is real. It actually happened.
Yes.
And he did the whole rip the shirt, everything.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. They got Hulk Hogan to cut a promo to help get a president elected. It was surreal.
With the Titantron and everything.
Did they play Real American when he came out?
And he had the Titantron, too, playing.
It's almost like he called up Vince and was like, what do I do to, get people excited, sell tickets? Well, you get Hulk Hogan, pal. He sold so many tickets for me. Oh, God. The 80s were so much fun. It was odd. The way it was booked was, really strange. Hogan, Kid Rock, Dana White. I was like, is this for me? Am I supposed to watch this? It felt like a TV show that I was supposed to watch. Like, if any other TV show goes, we're going to have Hulk Hogan cut a promo, and then Kid Rock is going to do a song, and then Dana White is going to speak, I'd be like, well, I should probably watch what Dana's going to say because, UFC news could be important, and I like Hulk Hogan, and who doesn't like Cowboy, baby? So, sure, I'll watch that. And then I tune in, and I'm like, wait a second. This is all about politics. You tricked me. I thought this was some sort of variety hour. I thought we were watching Saturday night's main event. I didn't think that this was a goddamn political conference. I see all these political nerds in the audience. I'm like, these aren't wrestling fans. These aren't my people. I was disappointed. I was like, wait a second. They tricked me into watching this. And then Donald Trump starts talking, and then he just kept talking. And then I'm like, all right, I'm good. I watched him for like 5-10 minutes. I watched the thing because I was like, Hogan, brother, I'm in. I'm in. And then, and then Trump starts talking, and I listen to him for 5-10 minutes. You want to hear the bombastic shit he's going to say. And then he just kind of kept going and going, and I was like, all right, I'm tired. And I turned it off. I had enough. I don't need to listen to it. Apparently, he talked for like 40 minutes, an hour or something. He goes on and on, this guy. He needs to cut it short like the Hulkster. Or at least rip his shirt off, brother. Let's see Trump do that. Rip your shirt off, brother. Hulkster did it.
Yeah.
Be a real American like Hulk Hogan. I would vote for Hogan for president over Trump. Not like, if I had my choice, but like over Trump, Hogan, he's more fun. I honestly think Dana White might be president one day. The way he was looking, like, in the room, he looked like the only adult in the room. And I was like, well, he kind of looks presidential. Maybe Dana will be president of America one day.
See, you're getting warned not to diss Trump, so apparently you're not allowed to have a free opinion. Apparently.
I thought this was America. I thought I was allowed to say what I want. These Trump people want to suppress my opinion. What's that about? Trying to suppress my rights? Trying to take away rights? Like free speech that I've had for years and years? Could you imagine? Your parents, your grandparents having rights and then having those stripped away from you? I couldn't imagine it. But it does happen for some people, doesn't it?
Well, I think it's interesting. We're going to get it's Trump versus Kamala. That's the whole thing now, right? Or it's Hogan versus Kamala. I mean, that's what's happening now.
It's Hulk Hogan versus the Ugandan giant. Winner becomes president in the steel cage match. The problem is, like, that match, you book it, Hogan's going out on top, brother. So I think Hogan's going to win this one. Big Terry.
Well, I met Kamala before he passed. He was a great guy.
Yeah, I met him too. Big Kamala.
Yeah, very tall.
Yeah, he was huge. Huge dude. People are asking us about the Slammiversary. I didn't see the Slammiversary because I was on vacation. Mike Bailey got helped by Earl Hebner to win a match. And there was a pre-show Quebec Battle Royal that Green Phantom was on. So that's cool.
Yeah, I only saw the...
Firestorm was in it too. Shout out to Firestorm. The return.
And one of your favorites, Yane Harrison, was also in it as well.
Yane. Yeah, I told you his name was Yane.
Well, I break kayfabe sometimes, and I say his actual name, so I feel bad about that. But yeah.
Yeah, you screwed that up, right?
Yane.
I knew
I thought
Yane.
It was the other way
I was
around.
like, Yane. That's a funny name. It's like Wayne with a Y. Yane.
Well, it's one of the rare times where I usually always call them by their wrestling name so I don't mess it up myself. But I've always called him by his real name, so I actually messed it up the wrong way for once.
Yeah, and you thought that was his wrestling name. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's Yang. Not Yang.
I always called him like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's one of the rare times it's happened. That's why I try to make sure I just call him by their wrestling name so I don't mess it up. But that happened. But he was like one of the finalists, I think, in that one. Like, he was down in the final three, if I'm not mistaken. Carl LeDuc won Battle Royal.
He did?
Yeah, he won in the end, yeah.
Wow.
Well, good for Carl. I think that's probably going to be his last match ever, possibly. So it's a nice little send-off for him.
Wow. Yeah. Too bad Yane didn't win. I like Yane. Big, tall kid.
Oh, he's got a great future. He's only like 20 years old. Like, he's got a great future.
Wow.
I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried. I'm just saying I like him. I think he's good. Good for Yane.
Plus, like, like TNA, like, do them any favors. Like, didn't air this anywhere. You had to watch this on like a cell phone thing on YouTube. Like, TNA didn't air this one of their pre-show YouTubes or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of crummy.
Yeah, it's too bad.
These people got you. These people got you people in attendance. You couldn't even air their match on anything. Like, I'm going to take shots at TNA. I don't blame the wrestlers involved, but I think it's kind of crummy what TNA did to them.
I agree. A lot of people are buying tickets to see the people in the pre-show battle royal because it's a big show for them, and they're selling a lot of tickets. You're right. They could air it. They could put it on YouTube with nice production.
Yeah, it'd be nice little thing to do. Don't treat people that you have on your show as garbage. Because that's what I kind of feel like they do by not doing that. But again, that's their business, and I would choose not to work with them because it seems like they can't treat people with respect whatsoever.
Yeah. It is what it is. It happened. It's over.
Oh, it's a greasy business. I get it, but it's a big reason why I'm happy we don't talk about TNA ever.
Yeah. And honestly, I saw a lot of people that I know were at the show, and I saw pictures and videos, and they all seemed like they were having a great time and everything. It seemed like fun, but I didn't feel like I missed anything. I feel like if I went to that show, I would be just like, all right. I don't think I'd be that entertained. It didn't look great to me. Like, it looked fine, whatever, but it's just like, I don't know. It was a wrestling event. It was a, rather big wrestling show. People were excited about it in the wrestling community in this city. But it just, I missed it. I would have, had I been in town, John, I would have gone for sure. But I was not in the city at the time. I was on vacation, and I didn't feel like I missed anything. I was like, yeah, that didn't look right. I heard AJ Styles might have shown up, and if AJ Styles showed up and wrestled a match, then I would have been like, oof, too bad I didn't see that. That would have been sick. But he didn't show up. So, yeah. I think Dolph Ziggler was there, maybe.
I believe Dolph won the TNA Heavyweight Championship.
Did he do it in Verdun?
He did in Verdun on the Saturday night in the main event. God. And good for Mike Bailey as well. Won the X Division title again, I think, for a second time.
Yeah.
So congrats for that. That's great.
I would have liked to have seen that. I would have liked to have been there for that. That would have been cool. But, yeah. And the pre-show battle royal would have been nice to see. Other than that, I don't know. It's TNA.
Well, it's good for the wrestlers involved. Like, I personally, I think the management, it's a greasy business, but you just have you have your likes and dislikes, and I think people now know our likes and dislikes in terms of this. So.
Yeah, not a big TNA fan. Like, I have nothing against them. I just, of all the wrestling there is to watch, I'm not going to watch that. Once in a while, I might tune in if they have something hot going, but they don't, unfortunately. I'd love to say that they have a hot company and they're really exciting and, oh, my God, you got to watch this, but I can't say that because it's not true. Right? If TNA was AEW, more people would be watching TNA. I used to watch TNA. I like the main event Mafia. I like Joe versus AJ versus Daniels. Or, Daniels, Christopher Daniels. But that was a long time ago. Scott Steiner math promos. Scott Steiner with Petey Williams. Kevin Nash with Alex Shelley and the rest of those guys. What was that called? That was great. They did a lot.
Well, with the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah. But then they have like a group, like a name of something.
There was some, I don't know if they ever really had a name, but there was something they were doing. I remember, and there was a lot of small wrestlers too. They were having a match with Kevin Nash did like the splash off the first rope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots
but
of
those
moments.
are
There have been some good
yeah,
moments
it's in the
TNA.
past though, John. It's like it's not the same anymore. It's not the same.
Oh no, it's not.
Right? They're not spending the money like they used to on contracts. That's a major thing that you can see, obviously. Like, they used to have some real talent there. They used to spend money on big name talent, and now they don't. It's a different company. It's different ownership, and this current ownership is satisfied with doing, what they do, which is kind of like a,
Well,
not
they
competing
couldn't
with
bring the
anybody.
Hardys. Like, but they just got the Hardys, right? That's a pretty big name, but they couldn't bring them across the border. So, and there's also a lot of travel issues too, as well. So there could have been some surprises they weren't able to deliver on.
Yeah. It's amazing, people want to say AEW's mismanaged. Right?
Well, I think it's because AEW is competition, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're I think they'll even say that we are competition. I think a lot of people take that as like, oh, now it's personal. I don't know why some people shouldn't take it personal, but I think some people see it as it's a fight and it's us against them kind of mentality. So that's why I think AEW gets a lot of that.
But people have to understand, when you're dealing with AEW, you're dealing with an independently owned company by a guy who's relatively new in the pro wrestling business. When you're looking at WWE, you're looking at a publicly traded company that's part of this big thing that's, there's so much money behind it and so many years of experience and, and you're dealing with wrestlers and wrestling, and it's not always easy to deal with all the elements in professional wrestling. AEW, I think, does a pretty solid job considering the business at hand. And competing with WWE, like the fact that they're even in the conversation is kind of amazing when you think about how long they've been around compared to WWE, has been around forever. And then you see TNA, and like they had moments of, going head-to-head with Monday Night Raw. Impact was on Monday nights. They were bringing in Ric Flair and Jeff Hardy. When Jeff Hardy, when it meant something to bring in Jeff Hardy. Kurt Angle jumping ship. Like, they were big names. There was big talk around TNA, but it's just not that anymore. AEW is that right now. Hopefully it not only lasts, but grows. Which you hoped for with TNA, but that didn't quite happen. And that, I think you got to put that down to management, ownership, and all the problems that they had throughout the years there, which we're not going to get into because there was, many different eras and problems, right?
Well, that could go on for a couple episodes. I don't think we need to cover all that.
Like, who killed TNA? I mean, TNA's not dead, right? But you could still talk about different deaths in TNA, the eras, the deaths. Dixie Carter, Jeff Jarrett, Vince Russo, Eric Bischoff, Hulk Hogan. The usual suspects. The regular guys that crush wrestling companies. Those guys. They were around. Bruce Pritchard.
Well, I'll give Bischoff and Hogan credit, though. Like, that's when I was watching them with most intrigue, was when they put on Monday nights. I was like, wow, like TNA, this is something now.
Yeah. Well, that was a huge move, right? Going head-to-head with Raw was the first time since WCW. It felt like, Monday Night Wars are back. This is crazy. And TNA was actually really good. And WWE scrambled so hard that they brought back Bret Hart for that Raw. And like, let's have Bret and Shawn reconcile on TV. Let's pay Bret all the money to make him hug Shawn. let's pay Brett enough money that he'll hug Shawn Michaels on TV for us. Because we're worried. Because didn't TNA have Hogan at the time? And Flair?
They had Hogan and Flair. Yeah. And the Outsiders.
Yeah.
Mick Foley.
Mick Foley, who was still wrestling. Like, they had Sting, you know. They always had Sting. They had some talent. WWE had
RVD.
reason to be worried. They had Kurt Angle. They had Jeff Hardy. They had Rob Van Dam, too.
Yeah.
And AJ Styles and Samoa Joe and Christopher Daniels. And, you know, like,
Yep.
it was a really good wrestling company at one time. Really exciting.
That might be the problem, too, is the fact that it fell off so many times that you've lost faith. I've given it a couple of chances. I remember a couple of Bound for Glories, like, oh, I'll give it a chance. Unfortunately, those Bound for Glories were very disappointing.
Yeah. You sit through one too many Moose matches and you start to say, okay, buddy, I'm good on this era. I don't think he's there anymore, though, is he?
No, he actually was the champion, and he lost in that 6-way with Ziggler, actually. So he's still there.
There you go. Moose. I'm good. No offense. I
think we answered that question.
I feel like he's just not, nobody is a draw to me. You got to have a draw. Dolph Ziggler is not a draw, unfortunately.
Good wrestler. Fantastic wrestler.
Yeah. Not a draw. Kyle Salisbury says, I was just going to mention Moose. LOL.
Huh.
Yeah, there you go. That's an issue. Booking Moose on top as much as they have. Because a guy like me checks in on TNA and you're like, oh, who's on top? And who's this guy? Moose. Okay. And then you watch him and you go, why is he on top exactly? What does he do? I don't get it.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, he looks the part, brother. I mean, he's big. He's very big. He looks intimidating. He's like, mean face, you know? But I haven't seen his promos be that, spectacular, and his matches are kind of boring. He's kind of boring. He's not like an electric personality, and the fact that they've continued to book him on top for so many years makes me go, why? Is this working for them? Have they, figured out that Moose is the way to the future of TNA? I don't understand why you would just keep going back to this guy who doesn't seem to be over. You know? It's a weird thing where you're a wrestling company and you're like, is it that they have no one else? I would have made Mike Bailey the champion a long time ago. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't watch
I think they will. It's just, it will happen eventually, kind of thing. Because a lot of guys do that. They go from the X Division to the World Championship scene. I could see him, I don't know if they still do it, the whole, cash in the X Division title for a world title shot. I could see him doing that, if they still do that.
I don't know. I feel like every time I tune into TNA, I have to watch Moose beat the shit out of Tommy Dreamer very slowly for 35 minutes, and I'm just not interested.
God bless Tommy Dreamer for still doing this, because his body must be beat up.
Isn't that like every TNA World Title main event? It's Moose versus Tommy Dreamer. It's Moose versus this guy you've never heard of. It's that other guy, Josh Alexander, versus Moose in a match that you're supposed to care about. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's...
You're not wrong, but every Fed has that kind of thing. They have their guy in a sense, and Moose is one of their guys. I think a big thing is he's reliable. They can depend on him, and you may not like him, but they're happy with his level of performance.
It's Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for no particular reason.
Seth is a great example.
Yep. And up until recently, Drew McIntyre's kind of a good example too, John, but he's upped his game. He's kind of copied CM Punk, but it's been good. Like, he's kind of just like, I'm going to do my own version of CM Punk. And then he just, does his own kind of version of CM Punk where he's just really edgy and shooty and doing stuff like that, being real. Hasn't he just kind of adopted Punk's persona? It's pretty good, though. Like a Drew version of Punk. That's what people do when they wrestle Punk. They're just like, well, if he's going to say all this real stuff about me, I'm going to say real stuff about him because otherwise it's not fair. I look stupid. And then it winds up elevating the other guy because the other guy winds up saying more interesting stuff. It's like Drew's saying the same old stuff over and over again, but then now he's got to wrestle Punk who's like challenging him in a real way. So Drew's got to start saying stuff that he can defend himself and challenge Punk in a real way. And you always have to do that when you're wrestling Punk, when you're talking against Punk, because Punk, he talks in that way. That makes you respond on that level. And now Drew has been on that level for a year. Most of this year. And he, he hurt Punk at the Rumble and he leaned into it. He made it his gimmick. And it's been great for him. But before that, he was kind of, his promos never really hit. But 2024 Drew McIntyre is by far the best version. And he's not just the best version. He's like a really good version. He's put it all together. The matches were really starting to come together in 2021, 2022, 2023. The wrestling really started getting really good. He had that triple threat with Gunther and Sheamus that was fantastic. He had really good matches with Sheamus over those years. He really improved his wrestling. He got more interesting to watch between the ropes. The promos weren't really there. Now the promos are there. The wrestling is there. The look is obviously there. He's gigantic and jacked. He's one of the biggest, scariest looking dudes on the roster. He's a total package. And I'm not talking about Lex Luger. I'm talking about Drew McIntyre. But only
he's big enough, though.
Yeah, he's huge. So big.
But it helps. It goes to show you, like, whether you like Punk or not, like, he does help raise other people up when he wrestles them. And, like, he's done that great with Drew, I find. Drew elevated his game because he got to have a feud with CM Punk.
Yeah.
And he should go over, I think. I think McIntyre should go over at SummerSlam.
Well, we'll preview that next week. Kind of an accidental feud, though, right? Wasn't supposed to happen. None of this was supposed to happen.
Yeah, making the most of a crummy situation they were stuck in, right? I mean, they really made a great job out of nothing there. Like, Punk tore his tricep, on a freak kind of thing, and they ran with it. Pretty good.
And they elevated Drew over the better part of a year.
I think it's also important to say that Punk a better promo than Danielson again this week. I don't know what you thought of that Danielson promo, but, like, that wasn't great.
I only saw the clip they showed us and then Jeff Jarrett talking to him. Wasn't there more?
There was more. Like, he talked about how, I guess, his contract is up August 1st. And it's like, oh, it's exciting times. We'll have to wait and see what happens with this. And it's like, well, you have the title shot August 25th. Like, no wonder they didn't air this because it doesn't make any sense. Why would you say stuff like this?
Maybe he's going to wrestle without a contract for the belt. Maybe he'll become champion without a contract. They've done that before with Jon Moxley.
You're not wrong. They shouldn't do that, though.
Well, if that's true, they've booked a guy for a title match on August 25th when his contract is up on August 1st, which I would not put past AEW. Seems like something they would do. They've done that type of thing before. Very stupid.
Doesn't Danielson has two contracts, though, doesn't he? Because doesn't he have, like, an employee contract, too?
I don't know. It's not public record, John. We don't know.
Okay.
It's all rumors.
Well, you know a lot about Danielson, so I thought maybe you knew, like...
Yeah, I don't know. I think he might be an office worker in some way, but I don't know what his contract is exactly. I mean, even you telling me his contract is up on August 1st is news to me. I didn't see the other promo he did. I didn't go to the YouTube channel to seek out the other promo. I'm like, show me on the TV show or I'm not going to see it. I assume that they showed me all I needed to see on the TV show, but apparently I'm wrong about that because AEW makes you do homework to watch their stupid wrestling show. Get it together, dude.
Are you even aware there's Battle of the Belts tomorrow? Or in a couple hours, actually?
No.
Okay.
In a couple
it's 3
hours
tomorrow. Collision.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not
Battle
a
of the
couple
Belts.
hours, John. That's like, a couple hours would be at 2 a.m. It's at 8 o'clock at night.
It'll be, is it 7? I'm not 100% sure about that, too. It could be at 7, but whatever. Apples and oranges here.
Okay. Battle of Belts. Good for them. I'm not going to watch because I'll be watching UFC 304. Tomorrow night, we're going to do the UFC 304 watch-along here on the Ringside Report Network. We're going to be watching the pay-per-view with you when it starts, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Big main event, Leon Edwards, Bilal Muhammad, Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blades. Big fights, Patty the Batty, Bobby Green. Looking forward to it tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the Ringside Report Network. Johnny North, when's your next match? When can people see you in the ring, beating people up, hitting clotheslines, and spine busters?
Well, we mentioned this before, Kanawagi. I'll be there at 6 p.m. at the Knights of Columbus in Kanawagi. And I'm wrestling Kyle Zachary. It's going to be next Saturday, August 3rd. So forget SummerSlam. Watch Dave on the post show, but forget watching the actual show. Just watch Dave's post show, and that's it.
It's a good idea. Go see Johnny North wrestle. Don't watch SummerSlam, and then watch me, and I'll tell you all about SummerSlam. I'll tell you what you missed, what you need to see, and what you don't need to see. Better that way.
Yep.
All right, good plan, and we made it through. I think your technical difficulties ironed themselves out. So for Bob Burgers, who had for Bob Burgers, AJ, who had his own theories about, AJ's internet, it's not AJ's fault, it's the network, it's the motherboard, which is like totally what AJ sounds like when he's talking about technology. Like he says words that don't even make sense. Just words that he's heard, and he tries to put them together. It was Johnny's internet connection. It has regulated itself. AJ's internet is constantly bad. Yeah, it's AJ always blames like his technical problems on us, on the Ringside Report Network itself, which it's not us. We know what we're doing. We have it all set up correctly. Everything's fine. It's AJ that is, doing something wrong and just not able to figure it out. And then Bob Burgers, for some reason, is like, oh, see, it's the motherboard. It's not AJ. And I'm like, that's a weird comment for somebody not AJ to make, And then AJ was also defending Trump and saying things about France and how dangerous it is. And then all of a sudden in the chat here, Bob Burgers is making similar comments. I'm suspicious about Bob Burgers. I'm very suspicious because his talking points in our chat are eerily like AJ's talking points in my group chat with him and Fred. Like, if AJ and Bob Burgers are two different people, they should be best friends because they think exactly alike, like the same. They think alike. They text alike. It's strange. Like if Bob Burgers and AJ are two different people, which I'm suspicious of. I think AJ has many aliases. I'm very suspicious of him. Yeah. If they are two different people, they should get together at some point. Bob Burgers, seek out AJ, become his best friend because you two are the same. You could be the best of friends. I think it will enrich both of your lives. You could talk about how the Ringside Report Network, it's our internet problem and not AJ's. You could talk about how much you love Donald Trump, how dangerous it is in France, and whatever else AJ or Bob Burgers is interested in talking about that day. Probably Italian soccer, Juventus, and other things. Who's your favorite Juventus? Who's your favorite Juventus player of all time? Big Bob Burgers. Everybody's got a favorite Juventus player.
Doesn't Ronaldo play for Juventus?
I guess the world only revolves you. Yes, the world revolves me. I don't know what that means. I think I know what it was supposed to mean, but what it actually said didn't make a lot of sense. I guess the world only revolves you. It does revolve me. It revolves us all.
Well, yeah, I hope all of us, because we all be stuck then. But I have a question for you, because
I think Bob Burgers thinks the world might be flat. But anyways, go ahead.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But I have a question because like you mentioned on Twitter this week that you got stuck on the metro and like you were there for like 3 hours.
Let's not. I don't even want to get into it. I'm going to be too upset. It's too annoying. It just pissed me off too much. What? You have a question?
What? It's just like after like an hour or so, like why didn't you like go for like a bus or something? Because like
they were full. They were packed.
Okay, I can understand that too because I've done that before too. Like Bonaventure would just stop working, and instead of taking a bus, I would just walk to like practically home because it's like why bother on a bus because they're so packed, right?
Too long. It was too far. I worked it out. I got home, but it took a very long time.
Well, 3 hours is like ridiculous. Like, yeah,
No.
I understand.
Yeah, it was not
how mad you were.
Yeah. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Well,
I wasn't happy about it.
If you can ever avoid the metro, I definitely recommend that for everybody.
Yeah, it's awful. Our public transit is just getting worse. Every time I go on it, I'm like disappointed. It's really bad. I mean, sometimes it works, but so many times it doesn't work, and you go, why? Why not? So many issues. And this was like because there was water in a tunnel or something? Because it was raining? Like, really? You're going to shut it down for like 2 hours because there's a leak? Well, why are there so many leaks? Why are we not maintaining these things? Anyways, John, don't get me started. I didn't want to get started on this. Could we not? It's not good.
Yeah, I just had that one question. I think we're good.
Yeah, believe
me. I think we've all asked our questions here.
We're taxed enough here. We should be getting services for our... Anyways. All right? You know what I mean?
I look forward to the UFC watch along because I'm sure you and AJ will bring up a lot of things about Quebec and governments and everything. So it'll be fun.
I'm sure AJ is going to be real fired up because he's probably watching the show right now. I have a feeling he is. Okay, thank you everybody for tuning in. Angelo Contagonis, you are a super chat leader of the night. Thank you, Angelo. Shout out to Antoinette as well. Safe travels to you, my friend. And shout out to all the members. Ray Cruz, Antoinette, Angelo, even Big Cheese Bob the Burger, Ulrich Anderson. Did I say Ray Cruz? Jimmy James, Kyle Salisbury. So many members checking in tonight over at join.ringsidereport.net. Jason Pete. My goodness. Leor, of course, Leor out in Moncton. CSL Lorne, Ryan Katz. Goodness. The chat was on fire tonight. A lot of members over at join.ringsidereport.net. Join.ringsidereport.net is where you want to go. Membership.ringsidereport.net to support the channel. Tell me, Johnny.
Big Cheese is a member now, too, no?
Big Cheese is now a member, a lucky recipient of a gifted membership from Antoinette.
So you believe AJ got membership twice now, I guess.
I don't know if Big Cheese Bob Burgers is AJ. It's just the comments that he's making seem so much like AJ comments. It's suspicious. And he's like defending AJ. It's odd that somebody would come on the chat and defend AJ out of nowhere. It's just like, well, what's that? And defend AJ in a way where AJ defends himself and it doesn't really make sense. You know? It's like you're having internet problems and all of a sudden somebody in the chat is like, see, AJ isn't wrong. And I'm like, that's kind of what AJ would say. Hey, oh, see, AJ's right. AJ always likes to point out, see, I was right about that. You know, he always likes to chime in with telling you he's right. So it was just like a weird comment. And then a couple other comments I saw from Bob Burgers, and I was like, wow, that is suspiciously AJ sounding. But if he's not AJ, like, again, I don't know. I don't know if he's AJ. I doubt he's AJ. He said he's American. I mean, AJ could be like, no, it's not me. I'm American. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, he could just say I mean, there's no proof that Bob Burgers is actually in America. We don't have actual proof. He has a fake name and a fake picture. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like Angelo Contagonis where I see his face and I see his name and I can look him up on Facebook. Angelo. Yeah, I've met him. You know what I mean? I know he's in Laval. You know what I'm saying? Like, Bob Burgers could say, oh, Canadians are no good. I am American, just to kind of throw me off the scent. But am I really thrown off the scent, or do I just go, good one, AJ? You know what I mean? I don't know. Or maybe I'm just paranoid, John. What do you think?
Well,
am I crazy?
AJ does have AJ does have his fans. I think you have to give him that.
He does have fans, legions of fans. So it's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah. Maybe he's just an AJ super fan. I just find that hard to believe, I think. AJ super fans, big time AJ defenders. That is surprising.
Well, I met Jason Pete like that too, like just, I'm a friend of AJ, not a friend of Dave or Fred, but AJ. So I've met people just randomly like, I'm AJ's friend. Like it's happened to me a couple of times actually.
Well, because I think Jason's actually known AJ. Like he knew AJ before the show. Like I've never met Jason, but AJ has met him. So yeah.
But there's people at the gym just randomly come up to me like, oh, you know AJ? Like, yeah, I know AJ, like,
yeah.
As you know, AJ likes talking to people.
Yeah. And again, like Big Cheese Bob Burgers, he says, you're whacked, my friend. He misspelled the "your," but that's okay. But he says whacked. And whacked is something that AJ says. Like it's a term that he uses. You know what I mean? You're whacked. That guy's whacked. Which is not a term that many people I know use. So again, even in the defense, I go, it sounds like AJ. It still sounds like AJ. Because he says, you're whacked. Like he says that to me. And I don't know anybody else that says that. I don't know anybody else that uses that term. You're wacky, you're a wacko, that I could, but you're whacked? Like that's not a term that I've heard anybody else but AJ use. So maybe Bob Burgers has taken some of his terms from AJ because he's such an AJ super fan. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe there's that. It's just like, wow, you talk so much like him. It's amazing. You guys could be brothers. Maybe it's AJ's brother. Maybe it's,
I'll give you this. I think your dots are connecting better than WWE and that whole racism thing.
Wow. Big Bob Burger says, I don't know AJ, but I like the guy.
It's a good comment. I like that comment.
I just picture it being AJ, and like that is imagine AJ just like, first of all he's got his glasses on because he can't, and every time AJ looks at he's trying to read, he looks like this because he can't quite see through his glasses, so he's gonna be like this, and he's like, I don't know AJ, but I like the guy. Like I just picture him typing that by himself in a room in the darkness, like kind of looking. I hope that's how it is. That's just how I picture him, and it's hilarious to me.
This is great hype for AJ's big comeback. He's been gone for so long. Like, man, tomorrow's going to be epic now because of this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I confront him on it because I've confronted him on potential aliases in the past, and he's like, what are you talking about? Like, he's very defensive about it. Almost too defensive. And somebody once from his inner circle let it slip that he does have aliases, and he shut it down really fast and got really upset. And I was like, what was that? What happened there? It was mad suspicious, John.
I'm going to guess it was his Marco or something?
No. I'm not going to reveal who it was.
Okay.
It was a
I don't
minor.
know a lot of people.
It was a minor. Yeah.
Okay, I think I know who it is then.
Yeah. But I'm not, let's not, he's a good guy.
Well, it's not for me to say.
I'm not for me to say. I like that guy. He's good. So let's not throw him under the bus.
It's not my business. Not my business.
Shout out to
him. Can't get involved in this.
No. All right, we're done. That's it. This is ridiculous. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's been a good time. I'll be back tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time for Wrestling Uncensored. No. UFC 304 watch along.
I hope not.
We just did Wrestling Uncensored. We're done with this.
We're going to do a collision review or something?
Fuck no. Hell no. We're good. We're done. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time for the UFC 304 watch along right here on the Ringside Report Network. Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word.
You know the drill. Hit that subscribe button. Flip those notification switches.
We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again next time, and have a good night.